History is about to be made in Japan, and the entire world is paying close attention to the developments unfolding in Tokyo. For the very first time in the country's modern political history, a woman is set to lead as Prime Minister. Sanae Takaichi, a 64-year-old veteran politician, was recently elected as the new leader of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party, following the resignation of Shigeru Ishiba. Although her official appointment as Prime Minister is expected later this month, her victory in the party leadership race has already sent ripples through Japan and beyond. This marks a dramatic cultural and political moment given Japan's long tradition of male-dominated leadership at the highest levels. What makes this even more significant is that Japan is currently balancing economic struggles at home and rising international pressure abroad, particularly in its complex relationship with the United States. Takaichi enters office with both hope and uncertainty. Sanae Takaichi's political journey stretches back decades, and her rise has been shaped by persistence, discipline, and a reputation for holding firm conservative views. She has consistently supported traditional values, backed stronger national defense, and advocated for more government borrowing and spending to revive Japan's sluggish economy. Japan has faced years of economic stagnation, an aging population, and a shrinking workforce that have all weakened its financial future. Takaichi's promise is bold. She believes aggressive borrowing and public investment will reignite growth, create jobs, and restore optimism in households across Japan. Supporters say her strategy demonstrates the kind of decisive leadership the country needs, while critics argue it could saddle future generations with even greater debt. Despite concerns, the fact remains that her victory represents a demand for change, and her status as the nation's first female leader carries a weight far beyond economic change. One of the most closely watched questions outside Japan is how Takaichi will approach relations with Washington. She has already suggested a willingness to revisit the U.S.-Japan trade agreement negotiated under former President Donald Trump, a deal once described as hard-won from both sides. Reopening that agreement could bring new opportunities for Japanese industries while testing American patience, especially as both nations weigh the impact on farming, technology, and automobile sectors. The United States is currently facing its own domestic economic pressures, and Japan's stance will undoubtedly influence supply chains and market access. On a deeper level, her openness to trade renegotiation signals a shift in tone that may create friction with U.S. officials, even as the two allies maintain a long history of cooperation. For Americans, this is more than distant foreign policy. It's a decision that could affect everyday products, businesses, and jobs in subtle but very real ways. Equally important is Takaichi's emphasis on national security. Japan has long relied on its defense alliance with the United States, but growing tensions with China and ongoing missile tests from North Korea have pushed the conversation about Japan's own military role back into the spotlight. Takaichi has expressed strong support for expanding defense spending and giving Japan more power to act decisively in regional security matters. Her stance aligns with some American priorities, but could also create disagreements if Washington and Tokyo choose different strategies for managing Asia's hotspots. In Japan, her proposals have sparked debate about whether stronger military investments provide safety or risk escalating tensions. As she steps into office, her ability to balance domestic concerns with regional expectations will define her legacy. Whether strengthening alliances or asserting more independence, her decisions on defense could reshape not just Japan's future, but the broader space. What makes this moment truly historic is not just the policies Sanae Takaichi plans to introduce, but the fact that she is breaking a barrier no woman in Japan has crossed before. In a country often described as socially conservative, her election sends a powerful message about representation and possibility. For many citizens, she symbolizes progress while also carrying the heavy expectations of being a pioneer. Around the globe, leaders and observers are waiting to see how she balances tradition with reform, conservatism with change, and national pride with international responsibility. The impact of her leadership will not be measured only by trade deals or defense strategies, but by whether she can open doors for future female politicians in Japan. As she prepares to take office later this month, the world is watching, and both allies and critics are eager to see whether her tenure ushers in a new era of inclusion and transformation.